Socialism and Slavery. What is slavery if it's not one person controlling the lives of another? Under the hand of the controller, the slave gets things the owner tells him he has a right to. The slave owner ensures the slave's food, housing, work, medical care, and whatever the owner, feels the slave should have access to. The owner does not see himself as cruel, far from it. The slave owner sees himself as a wise and caring man who does these things for the people unable to take care of themselves in the ways that the slave owner feels to be best. The last thing a slave owner would support is a slave making up his own mind on matters of education they wish to get, the work they will get, or the medical care they wish to gain. Socialism and its close cousin, communism, share the slave owner's mind and spirit. Those who promote and encourage socialism and communism feel that they are the wise ones. All those they seek to put under their power and guidance are too uneducated or stupid to make the proper choices in the matters of education, their work, their food, and their medical care. It is the socialists and communists that see government as the owner and the citizens as the slaves. They tell us where and how to live with regulations and selective taxes, law, or outright theft. Likewise, they seek to control what we eat, what medical care we're allowed to get, and so on. There is no aspect of our lives that they would not control in one form or another. It is in these ways socialism and communism are simply another form of slavery. What was the real freedom for blacks in the USA and slaves throughout history? It was the ability to make choices for themselves, to thrive or fail by these choices, and the chance to gain as much as their ability would allow them to gain, a chance to find their place under the sun, their own happiness, without the approval or acceptance of the slave owner or the government. What happened to the slaves when they were first freed? Most of them remained working for the very slave owners from which they were freed. Why wouldn't they leave? Much for the same reason many people fear to have government not engage in their daily lives as citizens. The fear of the unknown, the fear of failing, it paralyzes them. It makes them seek someone to take the risk away from them. Like the slave who gained his freedom but does not abandon his old master for fear of the risks of true freedom, likewise many cling to the skirt of government, happy with the handouts and protection and assurances offered by government, and all too willing to give up their freedom in the name of security. The best government is the government that governs least, the government that allows people to find their own freedom or failure. As to be truly free, one must be allowed to fail. Any government that removes the possibility of failure from its people removes freedoms. Failure is one of the great teachers and should not be shut out of the lives of the people. Failure can destroy, but it also can generate drive, a drive to make changes necessary to succeed. Government jobs is to give people the best environment such that the freedom and failure can be pursued without crushing other people's ability to do likewise. The slave owner would never allow the slave a chance to succeed at their own wishes, and would also never allow the slave to fail either. Likewise, the communists and socialists will never allow a citizen to succeed on their own wishes, or fail either. They call for it like one offering a giant gift of security and protection. They will sell the chains of their rule by bringing up those who have failed, and tell you that if only you allowed them to chain these victims, then these victims would never have become victims in the first place. They speak of all the good they can do for you and to you if only you give them more and more power over your life. They denounce those who refuse their rule as being greedy and selfish, not caring about those victims who they paraded before the citizens. To give real freedom is to trust that your fellow man's choices will in the end help others, that businesses and discoveries they make will help their fellow man, that the private groups of citizens will see suffering and will work together to address it without the aid of the government. It will require a form of trust that few have and few are willing to give. It also requires one to put aside the greed of need. That is the greed that is rooted in statements like, "But I need this," or "I need that." And that the desire is to fulfill this need by taking from another person's work and effort by force of government or unions. It requires not seeking the government's aid in taking the goods of another person to fill your personal needs. You need to have needs you may have or may feel you have. As it was said before, that when citizens discover they can use their vote to take the property of others, then the nation will be destroyed. I ask the listener to give up the illusion of grievance. Likewise, I ask them to give up the illusion of security in the care of the state. I ask them instead to seek the help of others or themselves, with honesty and humility, knowing with full knowledge that what belongs to the other person is theirs belongings, and to ask for it out of need is a gift should they give it to you, and should be treated as such. I call for people to put aside jealousy of the achievements of others, instead be inspired by them, to inspire to reach similar or greater heights than those you admire. I ask nothing less than the restoration of true freedom here in the United States and around the world. I ask that the cries of those who would rule us like masters over the slaves be ignored or rebuffed. Thank you very much, and have a good day, and God bless.